everybody! Oh, I forgot to clap. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Skyrim by Bethesda, the thinky thingamajobber in the bottom corner in that side. I'm back. I'm not 100% like I talk about in the Bioshock episode you're not going to see until Saturday. But my voice is back. I'm still on stupid amounts of medicine. I have shaky hands from the medicine. To help with all of the everything. I wouldn't say I'm feeling 100% better. I have gone from like the 30% I was at last week to 60. So I'm passing, which means I'm good enough to get killed by this guy. I remember what was happening last time we were playing. These people. You were annoying. Oh, I will kill him. I said that I would last time. I meant it. You have nothing. You are nothing to me. That's the way I went before. I don't want to go that way. That did not end well for me. I will though. I said I would kill him. I meant it. Okay. I'm not here. Shh. Anyways, yeah, so I've been really sick. I'm less really sick. Life still kind of sucks a little bit. Okay. Just don't turn around.
Did he listen? Oh no.
Sucks to suck. What do you get? A lockpick. Thanks, friend. I'll just take this off of your hands as well. Right. So I've been sick. I'm a little bit better. A little bit not better, but I am good enough to record, which is good because this is the joy in my life. Ooh. Sorry, dude. That does not look like you had fun. Recording is so much fun for me, especially the Skyrim games. Skyrim is very near and dear to my heart. I love these games so much. It's one of the first video games. I don't know what I just picked up. One of the first video games I ever played when I got like my own computer. One of the few games I played. Bathrooms. Played from like my own sort of incentive. Or I played via my own incentive. I didn't like watch my cousin play and only play because he played it. It was something that I've already been down here. Right? Yeah, this is just the other way. So I cleared all this. Oh, that goes all the way around. It was, you know, the first game that I kind of introduced myself to. And I've never actually beat it, because I always get caught up in the side quests and exploring, because it's pretty. And now it's prettier, which is awesome. Now this asshole. I don't need your bow. Or your helmet. I'm gonna save right here, because this mofo caused some hella problems last time. Wrong button. This button. Wrong button. Wrong button. This is the right button. Oh, whoops. Save. Save, yes. Yeah. Where'd he go? Oh, there he is. Who are you talking to? You're not talking, but like, you look like you're ready to have a meeting. And nobody is there, but nobody came. No one's here. That's right, dude. I love that it does that. Like, the way it focuses on what's, like, immediately in front of me. He, like, knows I'm here. No, no one's here. Yeah, see the way it's focusing on the log and kind of blurring in the background because the log's what's right in front of me? Are you fucking bugged now? I broke him. There we go. Stabbed you in the back multiple times. You were annoying, and now you are dead. For the ones that are still alive. That's actually a game series I've never played. It's Portal. I'd like to. Oh my god, so many books. Man, I like the reading, but also it's a lot of reading. Darkest Darkness. That sounds pleasant. Have I read it yet? Wrong button. This is the button. Oh, level up. Let's do this really quick. Stamina. Yes. I basically got that level for sneaky sneaking, but yeah. And I'm gonna get this one next. Right, that's not what I wanted. Items, books. Do I have the Darkest Darkness? The darkest of all darkests. Darkest Darkness by Anonymous. In Morrowind, both worshippers and sorcerers summon lesser Daedra and bound Daedra as servants and instruments. Most Daedric servants can be summoned by sorcerers only for brief periods, within the most fragile and tenuous frameworks of command and binding. This fortunately limits their capacity for mischief, though in only a few minutes most of these servants can do terrible harm to their summoners as well as their enemies. Worshippers may bind other Daedric servants to this plane through rituals and pacts. Such arrangements result in the Daedric servants remaining on this plane indefinitely, or at least until their bodily manifestations on this plane are destroyed, precipitating their supernatural essences back to oblivion. Whenever Daedra are encountered at Daedric ruins or in tombs, they are almost invariably long-term visitors to our plane. Likewise, lesser entities bound by their Daedra lords into weapons and armors may be summoned for brief periods or may persist indefinitely, so long as they are not destroyed and banished. The class of bound weapons and bound armors summoned by the temple followers and conjurers are examples of short-term bindings. Daedric artifacts like Mehrunes' razor and the mask of Clavic's vial are examples of long-term bindings. The Tribunal Temple of Morrowind has incorporated the veneration of Daedra as lesser spirits subservient to the immortal Elmsidi, whatever, the triune godhead of Almalexia, Sulfasil, and Vivek. These subordinate Daedra are divided into the good Daedra and the bad Daedra. The good Daedra have willingly submitted to the authority of the Elmsivi. The bad Daedra are the rebels who defy Elmsivi, treacherous kin who are more often adversaries than allies. The good Daedra are Boetha, Azura, and Mafala. The Hunger is a powerful and violent lesser Daedra associated with Boetha. I know how to say that. Boethia, father of plots, a sinuous, long-limbed, long-tailed creature with a beast-skulled head, noted for its paralyzing touch and ability to disintegrate weapons and armor. The Winged Twilight is a messenger of Azura, goddess of dust and dawn. Winged Twilights resemble the feral harpies of the west, though the feminine aspects of the Winged Twilights are more ravishing, and their long, sharp, hooked tails are immeasurably more deadly. Spider Daedra are the servants of Mephala, taking the forms of spider-humanoid centaurs with a naked upper head, torso, and arms of human proportions mounted on the 8 legs and armored carapace of a giant spider. Hey, sounds like something in the Underdark. Unfortunately, these Daedra are so fierce and irrational that they cannot be trusted to heed the commands of the spinner. As a consequence, few sorcerers are willing to either summon or bind such creatures in Morrowind. The bad Daedra are Mehrunes Dagon, Malakath Shogorath, and Molag Bal. Three lesser Daedra are associated with Mehrunes Dagon. The agile and pesky scamp, the ferocious and beast-like Clenifir, and the noble and deadly Dremora. The crocodile-headed humanoid Daedra called the Daedroth is a servant of Molag Bal, while the giant but dim-witted Orgrim is a servant of Malakoth Sheogorath's lesser Daedra. The Golden Saint, a half-clothed human female in appearance, is highly resistant to magic. Do you hear that? is highly resistant to magic and is a dangerous spellcaster. Another type of lesser Daedra often encountered in Morrowind is the Atronach, or Elemental Daedra. Atronachs have no binding kinship or alignments with the Daedric lords, serving one realm or another at whim, shifting sides according to seduction, compulsion, or opportunity. Grand. Hope of Veteran, Dance and Fire, Wolf Queen. I feel like I've read some of, or I have at least some of these books. I have the Wolf Queen, so this can go somewhere else. Let's see. Brief History of the Empire, number 2. I think I have the first one. So I have to read that one. Dance and Fire. I definitely have not read the first 3. I've read the first 1, so I still need to. I'm just going to take that. Plenial, Volume 2. Do I have the first one? I have the 6th one, so I'll take that. The Hope of Veteran. Okay. I'll start with this one. Part 2. Brief History of the Empire. Volume 1 of this series described in brief, not the lives of the first 8 emperors of the Septim Dynasty, beginning with the glorious Tiber Septim and ending with his great-great-great-great-great-great-grandniece, Kintyra II. Kintyra's murder in Glenpoint while in captivity is considered by some to be the end of the pure strain of Septim blood in the imperial family. Certainly it marks the end of something significant. Uriel III not only proclaimed himself Emperor of Tamriel, but also Uriel Septim III, taking the eminent surname as a title. In truth, his surname was Mentyrico. Maraka. There we go. His surname was Maraka, from his father's line. In time, Uriel III was deposed and his crimes reviled, but the tradition of taking the name Septim as a title for the Emperor of Tamriel did not die with him. For 6 years, the War of the Red Diamond, which takes place in the name of Septim family's famous badge, tore the empire apart. The combatants were the 3 surviving children of Pelagius II, Potema, Sepphoris, and Magnus, and their various offspring. Potema, of course, supported her son Uriel III and had combined support of all of Skyrim and the northern Morrowind. With the efforts of Sepphoris and Magnus, however, the province of High Rock turned coat. The province fell of Hammerfell, Somerset Isle, Valenwood, elsewhere, and the Black Marsh were divided in their loyalty, but most kings supported Sepphoris and Magnus. In 3E 127, Uriel III was captured at the Battle of Ichidag in Hammerfell. En route to his trial in the imperial city, a mob overtook his prisoner's carriage and burned him alive within it. His captor and uncle continued on to the imperial city, and by common acclaim was proclaimed Sepphoris I, Emperor of Tamriel. Sepphoris' reign was marked by nothing but war. By all accounts, he was a kind and intelligent man, but what Tamriel needed was a great warrior, and he, unfortunately, was that. While it took an additional 10 years of constant warfare for him to defeat his sister Potema, the so-called Wolf Queen of Solitude, who died in the siege of her city-state in the year 137. Sepphoris survived his sister by only 3 years. He never had time during the wars to marry, so it was his brother, the 4th child of Pelagius II, who assumed the throne. Emperor Magnus was already elderly when he took up the imperial diadem, and the business of punishing the traitorous kings of the War of the Red Diamond drained much of his remaining strength. Legend accuses Magnus' son and heir, Pelagius III, of patricide, but that seems highly unlikely, for no other reason that Pelagius was a king of solitude following the death of Potema, and seldom visited the imperial city. Pelagius III, sometimes called Pelagius the Mad, was proclaimed emperor in the 145th year of the Third Era. Almost from the start, his eccentricities of behavior were noted at court. He embarrassed dignitaries, offended his vassal kings, and on one occasion marked the end of an imperial grand ball by attempting to hang himself. His long-suffering wife was finally awarded the regency of Tamriel, and Pelagius III was sent to a series of healing institutions and asylums until his death, until 3E 153, at the age of 34. The Empress Regent of Tamriel was proclaimed Empress Kintyra I on the death of her husband. Some who do not mark the end of the Septim bloodline with the death of Kintyra II consider the ascendancy of this dark elf woman the true mark of decline. Her defenders, on the other hand, assert that though Catiara was not descended of the Tiber. The son she had with Pelagius was, so the imperial chain did continue. Despite racist assertions to the contrary, Cataria's 46-year reign was one of the most celebrated in Tamriel's history. Uncomfortable in the imperial city, Cataria traveled extensively through the empire, such as no emperor had done since Tiber's day. She repaired much of the damage that was previous emperors' broken alliances had broken and alliances and bungled diplomacies created. The people of Tamriel came to love their empress far more than the nobility did. Catiara's death in a minor skirmish in the Black Marsh is a favorite subject of conspiracy-minded historians. The sage Montalius' discovery, for instance, of a disenfranchised branch of the Septim family and their involvement with the skirmish was a revelation indeed. When Cassander, it's like Cassander, you don't know how to say Cassandra, I don't know. When Cassander assumed the throne upon the death of his mother, he was already middle-aged. Only half-elven, he aged like a Breton. In fact, he had left the rule of Wayrus to his half-brother Uriel due to poor health. Nevertheless, as the only true-blood relation of Pelagius and thus Tyre, he was pressed into accepting the throne. To no one's surprise, the Emperor Cassander's reign did not last long. In 2 years, he joined his predecessors in the eternal slumber. Uriel Lariat, Cassander's half-brother, and the child of Tyre I and her imperial consort Galvir Lariat, after the death of King Pelagius III, left the kingdom of Wayrus to reign as Uriel IV. Legally, Uriel IV was a septim. Cassander had both adopted him into the royal family when he became king of the Wayrus. Nevertheless, to the council and the people of Tamriel, he was a bastard child of Tyre. Uriel did not possess the dynastism of his mother, and his long 43-year reign was a hotbed of sedition. Sorry, this font's a little difficult to read. Uriel IV's story is told in the 3rd volume of this series. Fantastic. Last book for now. Sorry, got my hot water, which is disgusting. The doctor says you have to drink your hot water, 1.5 liters. So, hot water. It's like coffee, just disgusting and doesn't do any of the good things that coffee does. Alright, Hope of the Rhetorian by Turiel. One of the few magical arts of this is another history book, isn't it? One of the few magical arts of the Psychics in Tarium have kept to themselves, away from the common spells and schools of the Mages Guild, is the gift of divination. Conspiracy theory here. Despite this, or perhaps because of it, omens and prophecies abound in Tamriel, some of substance, others of pure folly, and still others so ambiguous as to be unverifiable. There are still other prophecies kept secret from the prophecies of Drojijad and the Neverrain in Merowinds to the Elder Scrolls themselves. The Nord nobility have a tradition of having omens read for their children. In general, these readings are of obscure variety. One of my acquaintances told me that her parents were told, for example, that her daughter would have her life rescued by a snake, and so gave her name Serpentkin in a special ceremony. And this young lady, Arya Valkyr Serpentkin, was indeed saved by a snake many years later, when an assassin creeping on her stepped on a Denswarm viper. Sounds like coincidence. Although that's pretty specific for, like, a psychic. I'm very much used to, I don't know where I stand on psychics, but I'm very used to, like, hearing people say, like, you have an inspirational paternal figure in your life. Even if you don't have a dad, that could be, like, a teacher, or an older brother, or an older male friend. Like, really ambiguous things. To say they'll be saved by a snake is a little more specific than that. But, whatever. Anyways, occasionally, omens seem to be almost purposefully misleading, as if Bethea had crafted them as traps. I recall one particularly. Many years ago, a male child was born at House Rhetorian. It was a very difficult birth, and the mother was delirious and near death by the time it was over. She chanted just as her son came into the world, and she passed from it. Fortune has smiled this day, not frowned. My child will be mighty in mind and in arm. He shall bring hope to House Rhetorian. Neither spell nor blade shall hurt the man, nor illness nor poison cause any harm. His blood shall never drop on the ground. The boy named Andis was indeed extraordinary. He was never ill and never suffered so much as a scratch all through his childhood. He was quite intelligent and also strong, which combined with his invulnerability caused many to call him after his mother's omen, the Hope of the Redoran. Of course, anyone who is called the Hope of the Redoran will eventually develop some taint of impertinence, and it wasn't long before he had enemies. His worst enemy was his cousin, Athan. Athan. Ugh, Athan. Who likes Athan? No one likes Athan. Oh, now I feel bad. Who had borne as much abuse at the hands of Andis. Andis, be friends, not mean. Don't bully people. Primary among the grudges was that Athan had been sent to Rehad to complete his education at Andis's insistence. When Athan returned from Hammerfell, it was because of the death of his father, who had been a counselor of the house. Athan was old enough to take his seat in the council, but Andis claimed the seat as well, saying that his cousin had been gone too long from Morrowind and didn't understand the politics as he did. The majority of the house agreed with Andis, wanting to see the Hope of Redoran rise quickly. Athan exercised his right to combat his cousin for the seat. No one thought he had any chance of winning, of course, but the battle was scheduled to commence the following morn. Andis whored and dined and drank with the counselors that night, confident that his place in the house was secured and that the hopeful new dawn of House Rezoran was rising. Athan retired to his castle with his friends, Andis's enemies, and the servants he had brought from Hammerfell. Athan and his friends were discussing the duel morosely when one of his old teachers, a warrior called Shardi, came into the hall. She had grown quite proud of her student over the years in Hammerfell, proud enough to accompany him across the Empire to his family's lands, and wanted to know why they had so little confidence in his odds in the battle. They explained to her Andis's uncommon blessing and the nature of his mother's omen. He can't be harmed by disease, poison, magicka, and his blood can never be spilled. What hope have I of ever besting him? Cried Athan. Have you remembered nothing that I taught you? Replied Shardi. There is no weapon you can think of that will slay without blood. Are swords and spears and arrows the only items in your arsenal? Athan quickly realized the weapon Shardi was speaking of, but it seemed absurd, not only absurd, but pathetic and primitive. Still, it was the only hope he had. All that night, Shardi trained him in the art and techniques, showing him the various swings and stances her people had developed in Alba Angoria, counterattacks, feints, and blocks imported from Vokda, the classic one- and two-handed grips for the most ancient weapon in history. It's a mace. It's a mace. He beat his cousin to death with a mace. I bet. The cousins faced one another the next morning, and never had the two combatants looked so unevenly matched. Andis's entrance brought great cheer, for not only was he much beloved as the Hope of Redoran, but as his victory was a foregone conclusion, most wanted him to be in good standing with him. His shining mail and blade drew admiration and awe. By contrast, Athan drew only a gasp of surprise, and only a smattering of polite applause. He appeared costumed and armed like a barbarian. As Shardi had suggested, Athan allowed Andis to attack first. The Hope of the Redoran was eager to finish the battle and take the power he deserved quickly. The blade pushed by Andis's mighty arm slashed across Athan's chest, but shallowly, and before it could be counter-swung, Athan knocked it back with his own weapon. When Athan attacked and wounded Adis, the Hope of the Redoran was so surprised by being hurt for the first time in his life, he dropped his sword. The less said about the end of the battle, the better. Suffice it is to say that Athan, wielding a simple club, battered Andis to death without spilling a drop of blood. Athan took his father's seat as counselor, and it was then said that the hope and the omen referred to Athan, not Andis, After all, had Andis not tried to take the councillor's seat away from his cousin, Aethan, not being very ambitious, might have never tried to get it. Can be certainly argued that way, I suppose. He beat his cousin to death with an axe! Bro, that's fucking awesome. You rock, Aethan. Team Aethan. I'm sorry I said rude things about you. You're not terrible. Your cousin tried to steal it from you. That was his first mistake. Another book. Okay. Another book. I shouldn't be complaining. I actually like reading the books. It's just my throat's a little bit thrashed. So maybe I shouldn't be reading so exuberantly. I'll sell that. I want you to have fun. I want you to have fun the way I'm having fun. Light armor increased. Good. Rislav the Righteous. Like all true heroes, Rislav Larek had inauspicious beginnings. We are told by the chroniclers of the Springtide Night in the 448th year of the First Era on which he was born was unseasonably cold, that his mother, Queen Lyneda, died very shortly after setting her eyes upon her son. If he were much beloved of his father, King Morris of Skingrad, who already had plenty of heirs, 3 sons and 4 daughters before him, the chroniclers make no mention of it. His existence was so very undistinguished that we hear virtually nothing of him for the first 20 years of his life. His schooling, we can suppose, was similar to that of any spare prince in the Clovian West, with Aelid tutors to teach him the ways of hunting and battle, etiquette, religious instruction, and even basic statecraft were seldom a part of the training of a prince of the Highlands, as it was in the more civilized valley of Nibelheim. There is a brief reference to him, together with his family, as part of the rolls of honor during the coronation of the Emperor Gorius on the 23rd of Sun's Dawn, 1E 461. The ceremony, of course, held during that time of the Elasian doctrines was Marku, and so was without entertainment, but the 13-year-old Rislav was still witness to some of the greatest figures of legend. The Beast of Anaquina, Darlok Bray, represented his kingdom, giving honor to the empire. The chieftain of the Skyrim, Hiorik, and the Hiorik the White, and his son Hoag were in attendance. Who names the kid Hoag? So many soft sounds in that. We're in attendance. And despite the emperor's intolerance of all elves, Khymer Induril, Neveroth, and Dumek Dwarf King were evidently there as well, diplomatically representing Dresden, all in relative peace. Also mentioned on the rolls was a younger Mur in service of the imperial court of High Rock, who was to have a great history with Lislav Ryan Direni. Wrong series. Whenever the 2 young men of about the same age met and conversed, is entirely the stuff of historians' fancy. Ryan is spoken of in praising words as a powerful Lyn over eventually buying the island of Belfaria in the Eilic Bay and gradually conquering all of High Rock and large parts of Hammerfell and Skyrim. But Rislav is not heard of again in history's book for another 17 years. We can only offer supposition based on the facts that follow. Children of king are, of course, married to the children of other kings to bind alliances. The kingdoms of Skingrad and Kevach were skirmished over common territory throughout the 5th century until they reached a peace in the year 472. The details of this accord are not recorded, but since we know that Prince Rislav was in the court of Kach 6 years later, as husband to Beline, the daughter of King Justinius, it is fair to make an educated guess that they were married then to make peace. This brings us to the year 478, when a great plague swept through all of Cyrodiil and seemed particularly concentrated in the independent Clovian West. Among the victims were King Morris and the rest of the entire royal family in Skingrad. Rislav's only surviving elder brother, Dorold, survived, being in the imperial city as a priest of Marek. He returned to his homeland to resume his throne. Of Dorold we have some history. The king's second son, who was highly simple-minded and evidently very pious. All the chroniclers spoke of his sweetness and decency, how he saw a vision in his early years that brought him, with his father's blessing, from Skingrad to the imperial city and priesthood. The priesthood of Maruk, of course, saw no difference between spiritual and political matters. It was the religion of the Elysian Empire, and it taught that to resist the emperor was to resist the gods. Given that, it is scarcely a surprise what Dorold did when he became the king of independent kingdom of Skingrad. His first edict on his very first day was to cede the kingdom to the empire. Great. That must have gone over swimmingly. The reaction throughout the Colovian estates was shock and outrage. About right. Nowhere more so than in the court of Kvatch. Rislav Larek, we are told, rode forth to his brother's kingdom, together with his wife and 24 of his brother-in-law's cavalry. Surely not an impressive army, no matter how the chroniclers embellish it, but they had little trouble defeating all of the guards Dorald sent to stop them. In truth, there was no actual battling, for the soldiers of Skingrad resented their new king's decision to give up their autonomy. The brothers faced one another in the castle courtyard, where they had grown up. In typical Clavonian fashion, there was no trial, no accusation of treason, no judge, no jury, only an executioner. You are no brother of mine, said Rislav Larich said, and struck Dorald's head from his shoulders in one blow. He was crowned King of Skingrad, still holding the same bloody axe in his arms. If King Rislav had no battle experience beforehand, that was shortly to change. Word spread quickly to the imperial city that Skingrad, once offered, was now being taken back. Gorius was an accomplished warrior even before taking the throne, and 17 years at his empire were scarcely peaceful. Oh, we just read about that guy. Only 8 months before Gerald's assassination and Rislav's ascendancy, Gorius and the Elysian army had faced another of his coronation guests, Keurig the White, on the fields of the frozen north. The High Chieftain of Skyrim lost his life in the Battle of Sungard. While the Pact of Chieftains was selecting a new leader, Cyrodiil was busily grabbing back the land of southern Skyrim that it had lost. In short, Emperor Gorius knew how to deal with rebellious vassals. The Elysian army poured forth westward like a flood of death, to borrow the chronicler's phrase, in numbers far exceeding what would be required to conquer Skingrad. Gorius could not have thought actual battle was likely. Rislav, as we said, had little to no experience of warfare and only a few days' practice in kingcraft. His kingdom and all of the Colovian West had just been ravaged by plague. The Elysians anticipated that a mere shadow of arms would surrender. Rislav instead prepared for battle. He quickly inspected his troops and drew up a plan. The chroniclers, who had heretofore ignored the life of Rislav, now devote verse after verse describing the king's aspect with fetishistic delight. Ugh. While it may lack literary merit and taste, we are all at least given some details at last. Not surprisingly, the king wore the finest armor of his era, as the Colovian estates then had the finest leathersmiths, the only type of armor available in all of Tamriel, and the king's Klibanian mail, boiled and waxed for hardness and studded with inch-long spikes, was rich chestnut red. He wore it over his black tunic, but under his black cloak. The statue of Rislav the Righteous, which now stands in Skingrad, is a romanticized version of the king, but not inaccurate except in the armor represented. No bard of the Colovian West would have gone to market so lightly protected. But it does, as we will see, include the most important accoutrements of Rislav, his trained hawk and his fast horse. The winter rains had washed through the roads to the south, spending much of the west wheeled, spilling into Valenwood. The emperor took the northern route, and King Rislav, with a small patrol of guards, met him at the low pass on what is now Gold Road. The emperor's army, it is said, was so large that the beast of Aniqua could hear its march from hundreds of miles away, and despite himself, the chroniclers say, he quaked in fear. Rislav, it was said, did not quake. With perfect politeness, he told the emperor that his party was too large to be accommodated in the tiny kingdom of Skingrad. Next time, Rislav said, right before you come. The emperor was, like most Elysian emperors, not a man of great humor, and he thought Rislav touched by Sheogorath. He ordered his personal guards to arrest the poor madman, but at that moment the king of Skingrad raised his arms and sent his hawk flying into the sky. It was a signal his army had been waiting for. The Elysian were all within the pass and the range of their arrows. King Rislav and his guard began riding westward as fast if they had been kissed by wild Kinnereth, as the chronicler said. He did not dare look behind him, but his plan went faultlessly. The far eastern end of the pass was sealed by rolling boulders, giving the Elysian no direction to go but westward. The Skingrad archers rained arrows down upon the Imperial army from far above on the Plateus, remaining safe from reprisal. The furious Emperor Gorius chased Rislaf from the Weald to the highlands, leaving Skingrad far behind, all while his army growing steadily smaller and smaller. In the ancient highland forest, the Imperial army met the army of Rislaf's father-in-law, King Thatch. The Elysian army likely still outnumbered their opponents, but they were exhausted and their morale had been obliterated by the chase amid a sea of arrows. After an hour's battle, they retreated north into what is now the Imperial Reserve, and from there further north and east slipped back to nurse their wounds and pride in Nibelheim. It was the beginning of the end of the Elysian hegemony. The kings of the Clovian West joined with Thatch and Skingrad to resist imperial incursions. The clan Direni under Rain was inspired to outlaw the religion of the Elysian reform throughout his lands in High Rock and began pushing into imperial territories. The new High Chief of Skyrim, Hoeg, now called Hoeg Merkiller, though sharing the Emperor's official xenophobia, also joined the resistance. His heir, King Ysmir, or I can't tell if it's a V or a Y. It's either Ysmir or Vismir, Wolfhawk, at Mora, helped continue the struggle upon Hoeg's death in battle, but also ensured his place in history. The heroic king of Skingrad, who faced the Emperor's army virtually alone and triggered its end, justly deserves his sobriquet of Rislav the Righteous. There we go. Now I understand. That's kind of cool. So I've never actually... Oh, didn't want to... Okay. I've never actually gone through and read the books before. As I mentioned before, I just opened them to see if I'd get, like, level experience from it. Is there anything up here? So it's kind of cool, because that story is all about this guy, this dude, who...
You picked a bad elf to get lost.
You picked the wrong elf to fuck with, bro. I was talking. That story is all about this king. Oh, can I play a flute? Another thing I've never tried to do. Items. Miscellaneous. Flute. Rude. Can't use it. I'm gonna drop it. I used to play the flute in high school. Cadets. Air cadet. You. Am I still carrying you? No, I dropped you. I'm gonna grab you by the throat. Stand up. Face me like a man. Or a woman. This is what you get. Huh! Bro. Go. Goodbye. Salt. Yay, salt. I am full of salt. Right, so it's a story all about this dude who was actually like a really awesome king. Or rather, this not so awesome king, but had really awesome armor and did a really smart thing. Sure. Dragons. I love dragons. What's under here? Anything under here? Stuff? Precious. I just dropped down here. Prison. Have I cleared it? Matt. No, I haven't cleared it. I'm gonna. Bastard. Yeah, so that's kind of cool. I'm kind of glad that I'm reading the books. It's a little bit rough on my throat right now, but that's fine. I don't die, as I tell my students, and my students tell me. I want your stuff. I want your stuff. Where's all your stuff? Oh, okay. Seriously, what am I missing? So I don't kill all of them. Don't they like send assassins after me? I never actually like stopped to figure that out, but I know that I have had assassinations attempts done on me, even when I've never like joined the Dark Brotherhood or anything like that. So why did I not test my luck? Pork brain. That's what I just came in from, right? think all I have left to clear is the prison. Which I thought I cleared, but I guess not. Why am I doing this? Why not? Right, life, D&D. Ow! Son of a bitch. Gave me a small heart attack. Open a door. I'm not gonna... Bro, you could've left. Why didn't you leave? Oh, I've already been here. No, I haven't. I take your food. That hurt. That also, like, scared me. Oh my god. Slow my beating heart. Jesus. Yeah, I have been here. Yeah, I already was all through here. Hello? Right? Yeah, I came through here. I opened all these doors. I looted all these bodies. I crossed her arms. I killed this person who was over here. That one. She's kind of pretty, actually. Hear that? You could have had a better life. Basically that. Of course, everything is more than your appearances. But she was pretty. Maybe she could have been like a model or something. Maybe she wanted to be a bandit. I don't know. I'd like to think that people don't willingly choose the life of murder and debauchery, robbery, and all that not so nice stuff for the fun of it. But maybe she did. I don't know. Who am I to judge? Yeah, I guess I cleared this place. I'll sweep through here one more time, just to make sure. Be very, very quiet, haunted bandits. Actually, though, like, tell me if you hear anything that I'm not hearing. Did I come through here? I did come through here. Because I killed you with a sneak attack. And then this was just downstairs in the storage. Yeah, I think I cleared everything. Mammoths will fuck your shit up, man. They are not fun. Don't fuck with the mammoths. Ooh, I'm very warm. There's a book up here that I was gonna read too, but I've lost it. I don't remember where it was. I don't know where anything is. Ooh, wait. Did I remember to re-loot in here? These potions? They are potions. Ah. See, it pays to be thorough. I use a lot of health potions because I suck at video games. And sell all the other potions because I suck at video games. Hi!
I can't even hard enough to keep up with who owns this fort. One side takes over, the other runs away. I tell them, I ain't leaving. I come with the place. Ha!
Okay. You do you. Yeah. I guess that's that. I'm gonna go out the sewer exit. I do recall there being a sewer exit. All the mead, which I'm not allowed. I'm not allowed to drink. I'm not allowed to have coffee. Oh, I miss coffee. The things you take for granted, like being able to drink coffee or being able to write without your hands shaken, or like anything really, like, oh my god, I miss coffee. I miss being able to like just sit down and have a drink when I feel like having a drink. Like, I thought that was the only good part about being adult. Ow! Son of a bitch! I already cleared this. Stop it. I triggered you already. Bastards. Isn't that like the benefit? I pay taxes, pay rent, pay for my water and my heating and all that fucking fun stuff. You know, necessary things. King's Rock. Big benefit is you're old enough to do things like drink. I don't actually like beer, though. Too bitter. I like sweet drinks. Where'd the bandit go? By the water. Because he fell. There he is. Come with me, Simba. We are going on a journey. Sorry, that was not the most flattering clue. Here. Dooty dooty doo. Very flattering contouring happening here. Ugh. I will make it. You cannot stop with me. I know I'm like almost out of time, but I will have this moment. I've seen it. Now I have to see it in like actuality. Come on, up to the top. Oh, this is a big fucking baby lion. Okay. Oh, mammoth! It's a mammoth! One sec. Ah, shabang gun. It's a mammoth! Oh my god. So huge. I'm gonna get. I'm gonna go not poke it because I like living. I'm gonna go look at it. I just want to look at it. I don't see any trolls, so I'm gonna look at it. Ooh, pretty flower. Pretty flower! You want my flower, pretty mammoth? Oh, it's so airy. Oh my god. It's huge. Look at it. Hi. My friendly. Oh, look at that majestic motherfucker! Oh, that's so pretty. It's beautiful. Hi. On second thought, no. I had things and stuff to go do and see, but just arrows everywhere on my map. Oh, the fox! Fox! You fucker! Leave the fox alone! Where are you? They're my favorite animals. Where is it? There you are. Get back here. You tried to kill the fox. Get back here. Motherfucker. I like dogs, but foxes are my favorite next to animals. Who the fuck are you? Hired thug? Why? What did I do? This is what I mean. What? Why? I've literally done nothing wrong. Okay, bro, this whole, like, face-on... There's 3 of you! Whole face-on combat is not my forte. Just gonna fucking... Nimble feet. Like a butterfly. Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. You can't hit me. Don't hit me. Oh fuck, I'm stuck on something. That's a rock. Watch where you're going. Aha, that's right. Come at me, motherfuckers. I'm a fucking bee. That's a quarter. Ow! Oh god, you hurt. Everything's echoey. Why is everything so echoey? Ah! Oh right, stamina. Stamina's a thing I have to worry about. Let that refill a little bit. Come at me. I wonder if I should... One second. Elvin, boat! Keep moving! Nope, that didn't help. No, I want my daggers back. Give me... Ow! Oh fuck, that hurt. Run away! Just gotta make some difference. How do I run? Who hired you?
You won't get the best of me.
How do I run? Forgot how to run. That's how to attack. That's menu. That's nothing. That's squat. How do I run away? I know that there's a sprint button. I just don't remember what it is. Ow! Oh god. Can you stop being rude? Okay. I'm gonna use yes. And then healing. Minor healing. Ouch! Okay, I see 2 of you. What happened to the 3rd motherfucker? Not gonna happen. Bro, you're a thug, not an assassin. Don't get ahead of your— Ow! I'm hooked. I just, ow, cleared an entire bandit camp. You're gonna come at me about what's my best. I mean, I admittedly did it by, you know, dragons with this. At least I'm getting my one-handed up. And see, this is why I steal all of the health potions. I'm faster than you. Just forward! What? Why didn't I pull back? You... Oh, I'm stuck on a wall. Ow! Ho ho. At least none of these guys are archers. That would suck. Okay, you're causing problems, bro. Somebody needs to die. Namely me. Okay. Well then. That is that, I suppose. Good news is, I still cleared the thing. Where did they come from? They came from like behind me. There's the fox that I was protecting from the wolf. What the hell? What have I done to deserve this? See, now I need to find them again and kill them. Shh. Hi, pretty fox. It's okay. It's okay, I won't kill you. I'm too beautiful. I'm too beautiful. Where did they come from? Where are these motherfuckers? I don't think those are... Yeah, see? Sneak. They're here somewhere. Where? Gotta be somewhere nearby. This is why I need the update. The upgrade for my bow. Being able to zoom in is really nice. Maybe it is random. Maybe that's just shit that, like, happens sometimes. I don't know. I've never actually lost those people before, but... That is life. Can I mine this? No? There they are. Okay. Let me change weapons. We're gonna deal with this. And then we're gonna call that the end. Okay, so. Ooh, we've got better. We're just gonna fucking dagger it up. Okay, I only want to deal with you though, not your friends. So, potions, healing. Oh right, I have all of these back. That's useful. Frostbite venom. Yes. To be careful, because they can also score the critical hits on me. Hired hug. Let me search you. You don't tell me who hired you? Where are your friends? Where are your friends? They're your friends. Fuck. Just gonna keep coming at me. Need to back off. Need to back off. Do they just like lock onto me? Okay. No, now I'm hidden. Good, 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 good. Let's change back over to my bow. They's all gonna die. How are you depicting me? From where? From there. Oh god. That was heavy, and I know that was heavy. Cloven dagger. Good. I'm stuck. Where do I go? Where'd he go? There he is. Fuck, there's two of them. Okay, so I just have to stay out of combat with the back dude. Take them on one at a time. Heh, found the flaw. If you can, like, lock onto me like a homing missile, I can make these odds more favorable to me. No place? Fuck you, you racist motherfucker. You know what's ending now? Your life. I will not stand still. I will also not stop healing myself. Sucks to be you, asshole. Haha, there's the contract. You're gonna make me kill you too, aren't you? You are. This is fine. Oh, you think you're so nimble. Fuck you. Okay, that's not very effective. Items, I need health. I mean, I'm flattered that you send 3 guys after me, but also don't. Wonder if there's like a way to trigger those combos, like if attacking specifically when they're open. Oh, motherfucker. That's right. Come at me. I want my arrows back. Thank you. Alrighty. Let's see who's fucking with me now. I'm gonna just save. Save. Items. Items. Books. Contract. Here is the agreed amount. I expect you to faithfully carry out my request to teach a lesson to the thief Kaelin. You need not kill her, but I have no qualms about it if you deem it necessary. Orgnar. Who? Okay. I mean, oh, the dude from the inn. Yeah, you salty because I stole all your gold. Guess it was a little bit suspicious. That's fine. Alrighty. Well, that does it for this episode of Skyrim. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I'm sorry about the little bit of strangeness in my voice. I'm also sorry, I've noticed there's been like a lot of popping in my videos. I tried diddling around with the audio settings on my computer to help with that. The mic on this isn't fantastic, and my other headset, the wire got just frayed from time and movement. I realized it was also doing the popping thing. I'm not sure if it's my voice that's the problem, or if I just need to figure out how to balance the everything in, balance everything in my computer. I am fairly new to OBS, which is the recording software I use, so I don't know if there's any sort of filtering I can do in there. I need to look into that a little bit more. I did change the settings on my mic input. It uses some like strange Realtek audio thing. I don't know. It's on the computer. It allowed me to decide like where I was. Before it was none. I set it to room or something like that. And when I did a few test recordings, it sounded better. It wasn't making the same kind of pitching, popping thing. But we will see. That said, thank you guys for hanging out with me, and I will see all you guys in the next video. Bye bye!